Okay, so let's have a look at this paper pumpkin, and I know there were lots of people that were disappointed. It arrived very late this month on no part or fault of Stampin' Up, just the way things go in this pandemic world. But I'm happy to get it anytime because I've always got projects going on. So when I open up, we've got our instruction sheet, and I did open because I wanted to prepare the bonus projects. This kit will make 9 cards, 3 of each one of these designs, and of course you've got the instructions. And on the flip side you have coordinating products, so colors, and what else you can do with the kit. So some of these require the same materials that are in the kit, which kind of puts you in a dilemma of, do you want to create the cards as they are, or do you want to use the materials to do alternative projects? So I always think Stampin' Up's or Paper Pumpkins projects are amazing as they are. There is no reason I need to alter this and add and do all that sort of thing. These are beautiful cards. Thanks, a little note, and I will always be here for you. Beautiful cards. I love the nice, serene, let's see, what am I thinking? The inspiration that it brings. And they're just beautiful, gorgeous, based on the coordinating set of On the Horizon. There's a bundle and beautiful paper in the mini catalog, and this coordinates with that style. So beautiful cards. I'm going to be creating just like this. There's a cute little alternative project, and it is, sorry, it's not an alternative project, it's an altogether different project because this kit included a second stamp set. That is the bonus in celebration of Paper Pumpkin's anniversary. It's a beautiful 2-step floral stamp set with great greetings, celebrate. There's best wishes, sending you birthday wishes, and time to celebrate. So you get a bonus stamp set. That's what I'm going to be creating my bonus projects with. On the flip side of the thank you gift is information about the upcoming kit, which is called Change is Beautiful. If you're interested in this kit, you need to be on the subscription list by the 10th, which is coming up very shortly. So inside your kit, just like every month, you get all the supplies you need to create the 9 projects. This month we also got a bolt of pretty pale papaya cotton ribbon, and this is the same style as the cotton ribbon that is in the mini catalog in Petal Pink and Misty Moonlight. I love it. It's a nice texture, it's a nice width. Really happy that this is included. Our Stampin' Spot for this month is Misty Moonlight, and I know a lot of people think that Misty Moonlight is like the #1 in color that's retiring or going away. I love the blue, and I think we've actually gotten Misty Moonlight in a couple of Paper Pumpkins, so you still have a chance to hang on to that in color. Our stamp set, and let's see if I can bring in a, let's see. So we have some background elements, a little branch of leaves, and lots of sentiments. So there's thanks, there's hello, I hope I'm not making you dizzy, I will always be here for you, thinking of you, congratulations, and a little note. So great greetings to have for the cards we need. I'm gonna need that stamp set. We always get our adhesive. So in this kit, we got mini glue dots and Stampin' Dimensionals. We will need those. And I am really loving those mini glue dots. I hold on to them for lots of projects. We got some really pretty bling. These pretty rhinestones have a lot of depth and color and shimmer and shine. Our envelopes are always gorgeous. So we have different colors, pale papaya, I think it's Old Olive, and Bumblebee. Plus the inside is super pretty too. So we've got different patterns going on. The envelopes are always special on Paper Pumpkin kits. I love that about it. Then we've got our card bases. So we've got a mountain scene, and remember, we get 3 of each. So if you think that you only need 2 of these, you could do your own alternative project. We have some labels. We're going to need those as well for stamping. And here I am mixing everything up already. We have another background that has a predominant color of pale papaya and that pretty green. I think that is evening evergreen. And again, we get 3 of those cards. And then there's our last card base with that pattern, that splotchy pattern in the background. And we have as well labels and color for those and texture for this card. So there are more die cut sheets for more labels. And we have our elements that we're going to be building on to create our cards. There's a couple of colors of branches. We've got like an old olive. There's some flora, and another branch in bumblebee, some mountain scenes in this really cool textural circle. And then finally, not least, is that pretty tissue paper, which I would call like a very light bumblebee. And I hang on to it, and I'm going to share with you why. So let's see. I debated whether or not to create one of the cards with you because I do want to give you the alternatives as well, but they're fairly straightforward. I hope you have the time to sit and relax and watch as we create these cards. So let's start off with card number 1. It's the one with the pretty mountain scene in the back, and I can see what I'm going to need. I need one of the pale papaya circles, pretty die cut. We need one label that has a brush stroke pattern to it. Oh, let's go back to our die cuts. We need that tall, I'm not really sure what it's called, what kind of grass this is called. It's a grassy element, I guess. And you just have to be really careful. They are die cuts, and these are pretty delicate. So I need those 3 things. And let's see, appears to be it. And of course I need a card base, which is this one right here. So let's get started. We're going to need our stamps, and I like to use I like to use my full-size stamp because I do have all the colors. This is Misty Moonlight. It's the color that's included in the kit, so I'm going to need that for stamping. And this greeting I need is a little note, and I also use my own acrylic block. I love the nice chunky ergonomic acrylic blocks that Stampin' Up! Offers, and so I've got a whole set of these. I'm going to go ahead and mount that. And okay, let's see what we need to do. So first of all, let's start with folding the card base. This is pre-scored for you, so it's an easy fold. You just need to fold it in half. So this is standard size, and I'm going to use my essential tool, the bone folder, and burnish that down for a very nice crease. Then I am going to, let's see, put mini glue dots behind these elements here. So mini glue dots behind all, I'm going to bring those in, and I need my essential tool, the take your pick. And I'm just going to add some mini glue dots in some strategic places here. You want to go with areas that are a little bit wider on the die cut just to hold it in place. So this is really thin, narrow grass. So let's see, maybe one more down here at the bottom. Put some also on the circle. Stampin' Up! Recommends one on each side. And then we're also going to need one on that brushstroke label. So what I like about this kit this month, you saw the pretty stamp set with the florals, and then we have this nature-inspired set. So both feminine and masculine cards in this set. And let's see, I need also one of the little white labels to stamp our greeting. So there we go. So let's see if I can eliminate some of this before I lose it, right? And so my first step is I'm going to add, looks like the the grass. So bring my, take your pick back. And I'm wondering, did anyone who's a subscriber, did you receive your kit? I'm thinking they've all been received by now. Usually mine arrives around the 17th of the month. We get billed, I think, about the 10th of the month, and it's usually at my doorstep by the 17th. However, this month, it was more like the 5th, I think. And I'm okay with it. I was just worried that it was going to be lost or damaged, but everything arrived intact and ready to use. Oh, Pam, you also got yours on Wednesday. See, kits and alternatives have already been on the internet for a couple of weeks, so I was thinking maybe it was just here in the Southern California area that we had missed delivery. All right, so next I'm going to bring in this pretty Calypso Coral brushstroke pattern right over that little grassy element. And then I'm going to add my disc with the little beautiful laser cuts in it. Barb, yes, in Texas, received hers a while ago, and you put some of your cards together. You know, I think it's pretty relaxing when you get your kit to put your cards together. It's like no stress. You don't have to cut and measure. Everything's done for you. You know everything you need is going to be handy. And this is something I can actually do while I'm watching television. I cannot craft very often. Oh, I think I might need another little glue dot on there, or maybe not. Sorry about that. I had to stop to wipe the sweat off my brow. This is crazy. It is April 8th and it's over 100 degrees. Thank goodness for my chili icy sangria. I love it. Okay, so that part's together. I need to bring in my label, and I am going to stamp. And because this is a photopolymer stamp, you know my theory, you might be able to get a great inking without this, but you really increase your chances if you put your piercing mat or some little spongy padding underneath your stamp. A little note. And that's perfect greeting because you can kind of fill in your own message that way. And this one is going to go on with 3 dimensionals, and this month we got full-size dimensionals, and they're very cushy. I think that I love everything is in the little box. So when I go on vacation or a weekend away, if I want to craft for an hour or so, all I have to do is grab one of my boxes and it's ready to go. Oh, and an acrylic block. It's nice to have paper snips and bone folder, take your pick tool, but yeah, it's pretty easy. As was this card. How sweet is that? A little note. And it's nice that it's already on a white base, so you can just open up and write your message. These are perfect cards to have on hand. You can just grab one and write your note away for whatever reason you need to send off a note. And there we go, card number 1, fairly easy. I'm looking around for my envelopes. Which envelope would I put with this one? Let's see, maybe, I'm not sure if it matters. I think I might put the green one. I like the little spots in the background. And yeah, I like it. Very pretty, very easy cards. All right, so that was card number 1. Let's go on to card number 2. Another beautiful card. We are going to be using those die cuts. One looks like it's a bumblebee color. And you know, you could also save this sheet because you could sponge and use this as a textural background too. So I would keep at least one, and you can keep on creating with these cool, it's almost like creating your own mask. So we need one of each of these. Then we also need remember I mixed everything up, which is the first thing I do, right? Let's mix everything up. Okay, so then we need this Misty Moonlight little strip. It's got a pretty pattern, like a tone-on-tone pattern. We need one of the Evening Evergreen banners. It's got a nice little zigzag on it. We need one of those spotty Calypso Coral swatches. And then we need a label to stamp on, so let me grab that. And this is going to be a thanks card. Another great reason to send a card, right? So let me put this out here for reference. Oh, I didn't add any sparkle to that last card. And let me bring it back in because these little embellishments are super pretty. I think these have been my favorite. They've had something similar in previous kits. I think it was around Christmas time we got these, and they are keepers. I'm glad we got a nice supply of them. And let's see, the directions say, where's my card? Let me go back to it. Let's see, says we should use 5, and so we're just going to scatter them. There are smaller, larger ones, so I'm going to start kind of low. There's 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to put one more down here. Let's see, there we go. Really, I love the way they shine. So pretty. Okay, so let's get back to card number 2. And again, we are going to put some mini glue dots behind lots of these elements. And I love the diagrams in the instructions because these little solid circles indicate a mini glue dot. The little open shapes are the dimensionals. That way we know which ones to use. And you're not confused about whether something should be elevated or just flat on the card. So I'm just going to add my mini glue dots behind. And we're just going for some of those wider areas just to hold in place. And I recall getting my first paper pumpkin with these mini glue dots, and I hear it. All right, so let's see. I saw that I kind of flashed out. Hopefully I don't drop off. And you know where to come back if that does happen. Okay, this is the card base. It has that beautiful background with that misty moonlight and old olive and bumblebee built right into that splotchy brushstroke like pattern, where it's kind of like a sponged background. And I'm gonna go ahead and use my my bone folder to burnish that down. And then I'm gonna start adding some of these elements. So I'm gonna start with the whitest label. This is Calypso Coral with some little white spots on it. So lots of texture and color on this, but it's very subtle. It's not like bright, very calm and serene. Okay, so this one goes straight across, sort of in the middle. There we go. Then we are going to add our bumblebee branch, which is that one right there. Oh, hold the bus. Let's see. It looks like I've already goofed up. I should have added the little green branch first, but I don't think it's going to be critical. You're still going to have the color right on there, just between different layers. So we'll still go ahead and try to stick with it. Okay, so I'm going to put that nice tall green branch to the right. And then I'm going to add my evening evergreen layer. Right through here, and this kind of goes below and slightly over to the right. And then just to break up the layers, now I'm going to add the bumblebee layer. So if you want to follow the directions exactly, just check the layering on your elements. Otherwise, you can take a little liberty and do how you like. All right, this one comes down, right, like so. There's our glue dots. All right, so next we are going to add, let's see, our thanks we need to stamp. So I'm going to bring in my piercing mat, and I need my thanks stamp. So I'm actually going to clean my stamp before I put it back. I've got a chamois that is actually clean. It's just stained. It looks atrocious, right? But it's clean. I spent a little bit of time cleaning my chamois today. All right. And I want that nice big thanks. And ink it up in the Misty Moonlight. And it goes almost center, horizontal center. And pressing down firmly so we get a nice inking. There we go. And take that back. Behind this, we are going to put the Misty Moonlight layer. We're going to add a couple of glue dots. And this goes right behind the Pale Papaya label. So we're going to center that up. And then this one's going to be attached with the dimensionals. So I'm going to put those aside, locate the dimensionals. And this goes right over here. And we're not finished yet. We're going to add our bling. And again, this one recommends adding 5. So we're just going to kind of scatter them around. And then one more. And I'm going to put it down here by the label. So there we go. There's a thank you card again with the white base. And for this one, let's see, I think I'm going to use the bumblebee envelope. It's got the same pattern as the card. I don't know if you want to match or if you just want to coordinate. It's totally up to you. These envelopes are so pretty though. Look at that coloring on the outside, and then they are very special. Love them. All right, so we're on card number 3 already. That's what I love about these kits. They're so easy to create. So let's see, for this one, we are going to need a white label right here. We're going to need, let's see, we do need a green. Looks like this one right here. There. We do not need anything from here. We need our mountains, and we need the Evening Evergreen Mountains range, and we also need the Soft Misty Moonlight range. And then we need one of those background textures. So cool. It's basic white, but it's got a lot of texture going on. There we go. All right, so let's get our stamping out of the way. We're going to stamp on our label. And this one is the I Will Always Be Here For You. And you know what? It looks like the thanks would fit as well. So if you need more thank you cards, you could use the thanks on the same label. That makes it really nice. Create the cards you need, not just the ones that are designed for you. And let's see, right here, I'm gonna put my thanks away, and I'm gonna add that and ink up and bring that in, try to stamp straight. But it's okay if you don't, because you could always flip it over if it's not quite right. But this one's very nice, so I'm going to leave that. And let's see, push that aside. I think we can layer up. I'm going to get my card base, which is this very cool blend of color. This card set is very reminiscent of the On the Horizon paper that was unavailable for so long. It is just a gorgeous paper, and it is back in stock, and you get a whole paper pack with these kind of backgrounds. All right, so I'm going to bring in my mini glue dots. We're going to be putting lots of adhesive on the back in strategic places. So these cards, I think they're kind of seasonless. So you could use them for all seasons. I wish I was in the mountains where it was a bit cooler today, because once again, I'm going to have to stop and wipe the sweat off my brow. This past couple days, I have been walking the hounds earlier and earlier, because even they don't appreciate the heat. It's like trying to beat the rise in temperature. All right, we need one more piece there. Whoops. And there. Okay, so let's see what we're going to do here. So we are going to start off with the basic white texture rectangle. And this goes to the right, maybe about ½ an inch up and about a ¼ inch over. There. Then I'm going to add my larger mountain range, the Misty Moonlight. And this is going to go almost lower center. Then I'm going to go ahead and add my Old Olive strip. There. And I'm going to bring this in kind of below here, right there. And then the final mountain range, which is the Evening Evergreen. And I'm going to bring this in and put it just right above the Old Olive strip. There we go. And then I'm finally going to get about 7½ inches of that pretty cotton ribbon. And I'm just going to snip. But I need my paper scissors, or sorry, my ribbon scissors. There. And then I'm supposed to fold it back. And I love this. Paper Pumpkin even directs us on how to adhere this down. They actually want us to put the glue dots onto the ribbon. I kind of think it's easier to put the glue dots on the paper. What do you think? I don't know, it's just me. It's kind of hard to keep the ribbon in place and get it secured down there. So, and I'm gonna add another one there. And I get it. It is a little bit of a challenge to know the right width of how far apart you need to put the glue dots, but it's much easier this way for me. All right, so then I'm going to bring this out. It's folded in half, and I'm gonna come out just past that mountain range and go ahead and seal down, press down. There we go. And then I'm gonna put my label. This one is added with dimensionals. One on each end. And it gets added right below the mountain range, slightly off the white texture layer. So there. Then, I'm not done yet. We need to snip the ends of the ribbon. I guess we don't need to. I like them. I guess maybe some people like them just flush straight across. I like the little angle on them. Just like that. And, you know, I want to put something right there to hold that down because the label's a little bit rocky. And if I have, and I do, I'm going to bring in a mini dimensional and add it right in place right here. And hopefully it'll hold the top of the label down. There we go, much better. Now we get to add 3 rhinestones. And I'm gonna go for bigger ones. And right up here where the mountains are, a bigger one, a smaller one. And then one more, where shall we put it? Oops, that one didn't stay down. We're gonna put it right down here. All right, another pretty card with my pale papaya envelope. And so we have 3 cards that Paper Pumpkin beautifully designed for us. I'll always be here for you, a thanks, and a little note. Pretty cards, very useful. And you can make 3 of each, or you can switch them up a little bit with some alternatives, or not. There are lots of ways to create alternative cards all over the internet, trust me. But I love the cards as Paper Pumpkins designs them. But remember, this month we got that great bonus set. And that's what I'm going to be creating my bonus cards with. So I'm going to put these aside for now. And bring in my stamp set. Remember, we have lots of great sentiments. And this huge stamp with a big flower, a couple of smaller posies, some nice leaves. And yeah, so here are the colors I'm creating with. I'm still going to use my Misty Moonlight, but I'm also bringing in these other colors: Calypso Coral, Bumblebee, Old Olive, and Night of Navy. And these colors were listed right on the back of my instruction sheet, so I know they appear in the papers. They're a beautiful color combination to create with. So I need those, and I'm also going to be using my Memento black ink for a sentiment. All right, so let's take it away. I'm going to show you my first alternative. I hope you like my, I'm sorry, not the alternative, the bonus. So here's my first card, this Best Wishes card. It's very, like a totally different style as the kit cards, right? So the other cards you could use masculine or feminine. These that I've created are more along the feminine side. A nice bright Calypso Coral color, Old Olive, the Bumblebee, and I'm going to share with you how I created this. And there's a really special element on here. Remember, I said don't throw away that tissue paper. You're going to want to hold on to it. Thank you, Pam. I think it's a very pretty card. Best wishes. So for all kinds of reasons, like my sister was just in surgery this actually yesterday. So a nice little card when you know somebody's going off for some kind of procedure or there's just something going on in their life. Great way to cheer them up. Okay, so here's what I'm using. My card base is Calypso Coral, and I have pre-cut that card. It's a standard size card with my score line right down the middle, 4 1/4, and I'm gonna go ahead and fold that over, burnish it down. All right, so there's my card base. Here is a cutting of that pretty bumblebee tissue paper, and this is more than I need. I actually cut a bigger piece earlier, and I think I'm just gonna chop it. Just gonna chop it in half because I don't need that much. There's all kinds of things you could do with that tissue paper that's in the kit. Such a pretty color. It's usually a really pretty blue, so I just got excited when I saw this color. It doesn't take a lot to excite me, right? Okay, so I'm just gonna fold it in half and I'm gonna set it aside, and you can make it perfect or you can kind of do a tear instead of a clean cut. Either one's gonna work nicely. Now I also need a scrap for stamping. I'm gonna stamp 2 of those blossom on here. I need a 5 1/2 by 3 1/4 basic white, and also a 5 1/2 by 1 inch basic white that we're gonna be stamping on. So let's get started stamping. Let's start with that. I'm gonna bring in my piercing mat, and I'm actually going to place this underneath because we are gonna be stamping off the paper. Let's put that right in place there, and I'm gonna create my 1 inch strip with Old Olive. And I'm going to, let's see if I can bring that down a little bit. And I'm gonna use the stamp in my bonus set that has like 3 little spots, and I'm gonna create a nice little panel just stamping all the way down. So random pattern, nothing needs to align, just however you can get your Old Olive color in here. This little stamp set is very sweet. I love 2-step stamping. It makes it really easy to add color without fussy coloring. And I love the big bold blossom with the little ones, and the nice leaf elements, and the sentiments that are included. So an all-around great bonus set this month. There we go. So there's my little strip I'm going to add to this side. Then I'm also going to, let's see, I'm going to put that aside there. I'm also going to stamp my blossoms. And I'm using for this, let's see if I can get organized here. I'm using my Calypso Coral. And this is 2-step stamping. I'm going to start with my solid stamp, which is the 3 blossoms, the huge one and then the 2 smaller ones. And for this stamp, I did stamp off. And I need 2 of these. So I'm going to stamp down. There we go. All right, so there's my big blossom, and I am going to need to clean these. So let me go ahead and take care of that. And for me, I prefer not to touch the chamois because the chamois does get inky. That's why I like to keep it in my case instead of lifting the little chamois piece. And I did cut 1 in 4, so very convenient. And if I am using the Stamparatus, it's much easier to have a smaller piece than the big chamois, but there you go. Okay, so I've done that. The next thing I'm going to do is bring in the second step of the stamping, which is the detailing on the flowers. And I'm going to ink up, and on this one, I am not going to stamp off. I'm just going to go ahead and stamp full strength. And It's photopolymer, so you can see right over top. And it doesn't have to be precise because it's kind of like a watercolor effect. So we've got two nice big blossoms. There we go, and I'm gonna go ahead and clean. And let's see, I don't want to lose my stamps. I'm going to use them for the next project. And then next, I'm going to add a couple of leaves in Old Olive. And let's see, I'm going to put one, trying to decide. This is the smaller double leaf, and I'm just going to put it right in there. And then I'm going to do the same on the other one. Let's see, maybe right there. And I've got another leaf stamp, a smaller single stamp that I am going to put, let's see, right opposite here. And then also one over here. And I'm going to hold on to that. I'm going to stamp onto my 3 1/4 inch panel as well. So I'm going to also include the center of my flower. We have a nice little spot. I'm going to use the bumblebee to stamp. Hello, Susan. Welcome in live. How nice. That means you're relaxing now. Your work is done for the day, right? All right. And I am going to stamp off and then stamp the center. Stamp off and stamp the center. So this is this month's paper pumpkin kit, which arrived very late for most people. Perfectly okay with me. I'm happy to take a break and create easily without having to think a lot. So these are going to be fussy cut. So relax, enjoy the fussy cut. And let's see, I'm just going to snip that right in half and just going to go for cutting. And you are not going to get into each little nook and cranny. It's just going to be a quick cut because we're just kind of silhouetting it. And you could probably design the project without having to fussy cut, but the layers just add so much more when you can add dimension to it by lifting it and giving it some more dimension. It makes a really special card. So it's not too intricate, just some curves. And again, it's supposed to be relaxing. So if you're finding it stressful, you need to just take a break and relax and enjoy it. Don't feel like you're in the race to the finish. So I just realized this little bonus set reminds me of a set Stampin' Up! Had many years ago, and I wish I could remember the name of the stamp set. These beautiful, huge blossoms. And I remember this was back in the day of the wooden sets. It was a little bit pricey, but I earned it. The company founder, Shelley Gardner, used to post a challenge on her blog to submit some projects, like maybe Valentine's Day projects or something. And I did, and she actually picked one of my projects, and I was rewarded with the stamp set of my choice. And so I picked that little wooden set that I'd had my eye on for so long. And I think I no longer have the stamp set. However, I saved the little letter that came along with the stamp set from Shelley Gardner. It's a little keeper. All of the correspondence that I received from Stampin' Up! Is a keeper. So there's one. You can see it's not that difficult. And the good news is my second bonus card does not have fussy cutting. Thought I might have to walk back on that one, but I don't. The next one does not have fussy cutting, so it'll be easier. Right through here. I love the Calypso Coral. I've been using it on a couple of projects lately, and I'm happy it's back. For so long, it looked very similar to Flirty Flamingo to me, but this is actually a lot brighter. Nice and clean color. And it goes so nicely with the Bumblebee and Old Olive too. So, right, like so. So weekend plans, anyone? I am relieved about the whole tax situation. I'm just laughing. I find it so stressful getting ready for the appointment that I delay, and I do make my appointment at the beginning of the year. It's just that, and I try to get in earlier because I'm one of those people that works under deadline pressure. If I know I have until April 6th to get it done, you can bet that I'm going to be doing it on April 5th, which is exactly what happened. So happy to be done with that. And also, as I mentioned, my mother's taxes. So we are done for a year. I'm kicking up my heels. Sorry that I have to write a big fat check, but I guess comes with the territory. All right, there we go. My 2 blossoms, done with that. And let's see, what else do I need? Uh-oh, my 1-inch strip, where did I put it? Right there. So I'm done. Oh, I just need to stamp one more bit. And let's see, I'm going to use this little scrap that I had left over. This greeting is going to be best wishes, and I did stamp in Memento Black. And I'm just going to stamp at the bottom of this little scrap. There we go. And put that away so I don't get inky. I'm going to remove my piercing mat. And let's start building. I'm going to bring in my card. I'm going to bring in that 1-inch, or sorry, that 1-inch strip. Let me deal with that first. This is going to be flat adhered to the right of the card with flat adhesive. So you could use your seal or you could use multi-purpose glue. Let's see if my multi-purpose is working for me today. Right here. And it just goes right up to the edge. Right there. And I think I just need to snip a tiny bit. It's off like, I don't even, not even 1 millimeter. There we go. And so there's that step. The next thing I'm going to do is add some splatter to the background here, and I'm looking around. I'm going to use my Old Olive, the dark, the blend, and I'm just going to do a little bit of splatter. And this just kind of ties in the color on all the layers. There we go. All right, and I'm going to add my Bumblebee to the back. So on this card, I left the edges so they're kind of layered in here. It's an open. You could do the fold if you wanted to, if you want to keep it nice and neat. It's totally up to you. We're just adding a little bit of color, and I just flipped it over and added a little streak of adhesive. And I like that look where it's not quite perfect. and I'm going to leave about a quarter of an inch. So a nice little spot of bumblebee. And then this is going to be flat adhered to our card base. Right in here. And I'm going to leave about a quarter inch on the left so that pretty calypso coral peeks through. Right in there. And kind of looks like I need to trim this too. So my cutting was off a tiny bit, but this is the time to correct it. So before you start adding all the layers. All right, so then I'm gonna bring in one of my blossoms, and I think I'm gonna save the prettier one for the top layer. They're pretty much the same, I think. This one's gonna go in at the top, but before I adhere it down, I'm gonna add a leaf right around here, flat on the basic white. Oh dear. There is the post person at the door. And let's see. I need to add this here. And it's going to come down like so. And you know what? I think I'm going to have to grab that delivery. Give me a sec. So sorry, we actually had to sign for that delivery, so there you go. All right, so the next layer is going to be added with dimensionals. And let me grab those. So it's already 5 o'clock and we're just getting our mail delivered. When does your mail come? Ours used to come like first thing in the morning, and maybe the mail delivers are just getting inundated with assignments as well, because it's a long day if they're still delivering at 5 o'clock at night. It is bright outside, but still. Okay, so this one I'm going to, let's see, I think I want it coming down this way. And, you know, I don't like that one peeking out there, so I'm going to snip that off. Right through here. All right, so let's try that again. I'm going to put that right like so. And I'm wondering if I want to add that maybe there, or let's see. I'm going to hold on to that. Next, I'm going to add my best wishes label. So I'm going to bring in my mini chopper and trim this down. Right. So it comes out to be just about 3/4 of an inch. And then I'm going to angle this off on both sides. And just like our kit card, between 12 and 2, that's a nice time to come. I know sometimes we're waiting on things, and it's nice when the mail gets here a little bit earlier. But as I said, I think it's that the delivery people are just having to do more and more like everybody else. You have not enough people doing too much work, so. And that was not our regular delivery person today, so maybe that's why she's running so late, when it's not your route, right? But between 12 and 2 is a nice time to get mail. Lunch break time, right? Okay, so I'm gonna do the same as our kit card, and I'm gonna put down my mini glue dots right onto the card. Just looking for my take your pick tool right in here. And I'll put down a couple. and one more. And this goes right in here. And again, just trying to get it in position here. The next step is going to be to add our best wishes, and what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to add the dimensional only on the left, and then to the other side I'm going to add flat adhesive because we've already stacked the little flowers with dimensionals. And so I'm going to bring this way off to the side here. There. Oh, that might need another little glue dot down there, and this one's easier to do. I'm going to use my roll of glue dots, and I'm just going to bring this in, lift, and add it right in there to hold that in place. And oops, my best is kind of crooked. Let's see. Better. Okay, so then I'm going to trim up the little tails of the ribbon. And again, at an angle. Oops. Not too much of an angle on that one. Here we go. It's hard to get in there. All right. So last, let's bring in some of that bling. And you know what? Let's see where I can add that little leaf. I think I want a little bit more color right where the greeting is. So I'll just slip this in right behind. Add it right there. Let's get my pick, take your pick tool and add our bling. And I'm adding maybe 5. All right, so how easy was that with that great bonus set? There's bonus project number 1. I'm gonna set that aside. And then my next project is going to take advantage of the Misty Moonlight that this kit includes, because remember, Misty Moonlight is going away. So here's my alternative card using the blossoms as well. The color scheme is Misty Moonlight, Old Olive, and Bumblebee. And this is a fun fold, so it's kind of cool. It's got a nice center panel, sending you birthday wishes when you open up. Time to celebrate. So look how fun that is. And as I said, no fussy cutting on this one. So let's bring in the elements that we need. And this one starts, let's see, let me shake that out. This one starts with a card base that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. We need a basic white that's 4 by 5 1/4. We need an 11" by 2 3/4, and I scored it right in the middle at 5 1/2. And then we need 2 strips of basic white that are 2 1/2 by 5 1/4. And then for my greeting, I used my circle punches, and I have a basic white circle with 2 inches, and the Misty Moonlight that's 2 1/4. Thank you, Pam. That Misty Moonlight's a beautiful blue. So we have both cards still created with the same stamp set. They kind of have different moods, right, with the coloring, and still those pretty blossoms. So let me share with you how I created this one. So the card base itself is not folded. It's the fun fold that's going to bring up the greeting. So for this, I started with my leaves. I'm going to put my piercing mat right underneath, and I'm going to grab those double leaves. They look like little rabbit ears. And I'm just going to stamp all the way down like the 1-inch strip going in, and it's just random patterns. So it doesn't matter if you're precise. You know me, I'm not a precise stamper, so just making a little pattern, adding color down the side, and then I'm going to flip it and do the same on the opposite side. And I'm just kind of rotating the little leaves and creating a background. So in essence, we're making our own designer series paper. Now I'm going to bring in my little trio of dots, and I'm bringing in the bumblebee, and I'm going to use second generation so it doesn't overwhelm the leaves. So stamp off and stamp. So nice, subtle little dots, almost like little sun rays coming down. And then I'm going to rotate. This is going to be all covered down the middle, so you don't need to worry that we're making a mess here. And again, it's just random. Doesn't matter where you're stamping. All right, so there is our pattern for the center, and we're going to go ahead and adhere this to the card base. It's flat adhered, and you're going to have about a 1/4 inch border all the way around. Right in there. And looking for my bone folder so I can burnish that down. Give it some nice contact so it sticks. All right, there's that. Next, we're going to create our focal point art on one of the 5 1/4 by 2.5 inch panels. And with this, we're going to use that big blossom stamp. And we're using first Misty Moonlight. So I'm going to bring in, I need to have it nice and stable on the table. So I did a rhyme. Stable on the table. And let's see, we need the solid image first. For me, that's easier to do the stamping when I have a nice solid image to kind of guide me. And I'm just going to stamp down on my panel here. Looks, make sure I'm all inked up here. Starting off in the corner. I'm going to do another inking. And again, coming in the side. And then one more. And let's bring it right in through here. Now I have a little bit of a gap right here, so I'm going to bring in one last little blossom right there. All right, now my second step on my 2-step stamping is going to be in Night of Navy, which is a little bit darker than the Misty Moonlight, and I'm going to do my detail stamping with Night of Navy. And we can see right through on the stamp, so you can align it and make sure that you're more or less on spot. It doesn't have to be precise. And again, and one more full, or sort of full. Let's see. This one's gonna go. And let me do that last right in here. There we go. Now I'm going to do one small little blossom on my greeting. I'm also going to stamp my sentiment in Night of Navy. sending you birthday wishes. There, and then we are going to do one little blossom from our trio. And I'm going to take the one that's off kind of away from the rest of the image so that I can just grab that one in there. And I just want to bring it in off the side here. There, and then I want to do the same with the Night of Navy. Bring in the detailing and just figure out my alignment here. There we go. Then I'm going to add a little bit of green to the focal point with my little bunny ear leaves, if I can find them on the table. It's getting out of control now. Okay, so I'm going to use Old Olive, but I'm going to mask my little flower here so that I can put the leaves on a little bit nicer. And let's see, we're going to come right in here. And when I take off the little mask, look what happened. So it didn't muddy up the little flower. Really easy. And what I did, I have this little Post-it note stamp that I inked up my blossom, and then I hand snipped around it, and then I just used the sticky to adhere right on over the image so that the green wouldn't stamp right onto that. So there's our focal point, and let's see, so that I don't lose anything yet, I'm going to bring in my Misty Moonlight Circle and flat adhere this. Oops. Right in through here. And it's a circle, so it doesn't matter which direction. I'm not trying to line anything yet. I have a nice 1/8 inch border around that white. So that's taken care of. What I do want to do is add my bumblebee to the focal point. So I'm going to bring in those little circles. And I am going to be inking up First Generation. So I'm just randomly stamping the little dots in between the spots in the flowers where I don't have anything. And again, it's random pattern, so it doesn't matter if you're doing it in the exact same spot. You just want to add a little bit of color all over. And that looks good to me. I do want to do my flower centers. And again, I'm going to stamp off. There we go. So there's my focal point, and I'm going to decide, because part of this is going to be covered, if I want it there. I think I'm going to put it this way. So that's critical only because I'm going to attach it to that center panel, which is 11 inches by 2 3/4, and I scored it right down the middle at 5 1/2. I can bring my bone folder in and burnish it down. And then this gets adhered. See, this is why I wanted to check the orientation on this piece. And I'm going to bring in my glue, flat adhesive. And again, I'm going to have about 1/8 inch border all the way around. Burnish that down. This then gets attached to our card base right in the center. So again, I'm going to use flat adhesive. And it goes right in the center. So I'm going to have about 3/4 inch on each side. There we go. And again, burnish that down. You could use a seal as well to secure this. The liquid glue is a really nice aggressive glue. It's going to keep it stuck on there. All right, so next, the inside message. We're going to do that panel next with our basic white. That's our last piece we have going on. And I'm going to bring back in my piercing mat. Bring in my sentiment that says, time to celebrate. I'm going to ink up in Night of Navy. Sort of make sure it's the right side up. Time to celebrate right at the top there, so we'll have plenty of space to sign. And then, just as I did on the original, I'm going to bring in the blossom coming in from the lower right. So grab my solid blossom and ink up in Misty Moonlight. And I want the two smaller blossoms up in the area, so right there peeking in from the lower corner. And then we're going to bring in the Night of Navy, second step. And here we go. There, and one more thing, get our bumblebee, second generation. There we go. And let's see. This gets adhered to the center inside, flat adhesive. That little fun fold switches up the card nicely. And we're going to bring this in. And what I'm doing, I want to align the base to the base of the white on the outside. So that gives us a nice even bottom or baseline. And we slide it over just a tiny bit. Burnish that. And we're nearly done. And before I go any further, I'm going to add a little bit of splatter. I am going to bring in, this time, my Misty Moonlight blend, and I'm going to go ahead and add some splatter here. And you can go as heavy or as light as you like, so a little goes a long way. There we go, and we're going to add our greeting, and I'm going to put adhesive only to the left because part of it falls off of the center flat. So right in here. Sending you birthday wishes. I love the Misty Moonlight. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of twine. So I'm borrowing some twine from the Van Baker's Twine Trio pack. There's one that's a pretty blue. And I did a double, maybe triple loop bow. So let's see if I can duplicate it for you. So I wrapped it around my fingers several times. I'm going to need a nice long tail because this piece is going to come up and I'm going to bring it through. So I'm going to kind of spread my fingers. I wrapped it 3 times. It's going to come down and I'm going to bring it around. Here's where it gets a little bit tricky because I need to bring it in and create my knot. Now, you don't have to do a triple loop ribbon. You could do just, you could cut your 3 strands and do it, or just tie it. There we go. And then squished on my fingers. All right, there we go. And see if I can even that up a little bit. There we go. So it gives it some nice bulk to it. And I'm going to attach it with the glue dot. So I'm going to come in with my mini glue dots and my take your pick, put a little dot down here and add my ribbon. Oh, maybe a little bit higher right there. And let's go ahead and trim up the ribbon. There, and we're gonna add a little bit of bling. Let's see if I can get some of this out of the way before I make a mess, inky mess. My hands are very inky today. I did a lot of stamping in different colors, so. All right, let's bring that up, bring in our bling. This is still from the paper pumpkin kit. I'm gonna use the smaller ones here. So up at the top, and then bring some around the little posy. Right in here. And then one bigger one off the page here. There we go. So there's our second bonus project. We've got 2 going on with that pretty misty moonlight and with the calypso coral. So 2 different color schemes. One's a little fun fold, folds right up the middle, ascending birthday wishes, and the other one is just a birthday wishes. So created by that bonus set that we got, this paper pumpkin kit. And then don't forget, we also got to create our cards as designed right in the kit. Let's see if I can bring that down for you. So yeah, look at that. Paper pumpkin is a great deal. To have everything included in the kit, all packed and ready to go to create, it's really a great deal. And if you want to get in on the next kit, you need to sign up by the 10th. I will post a link right above the video. If you have any questions or comments, please post them down below. I thank you so much for joining me. And today's class was a little bit long. Wow, we've been crafting for nearly an hour and a half. I hope you have a great weekend. Thanks for spending a little bit of time with me. I appreciate it. Have a great weekend.